This evening, 6 low-income families were given the keys to their newly built homes. Cop killed after crashing into a parked truck. Family members of a 19-year-old who was stabbed amid a family altercation and died at the LILIANNDALL COVID-19 hospital cries foul. In the region, El Salvador plans to use volcanic energy to create a Bitcoin city. And internationally, dozens dead from tropical storm Anna in southern Africa. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight's newscast with a tragic story. In this report, Esther Sobers visited the home of Isaac Edwards. Edwards was stabbed during the week amid an altercation with his mother's lover. However, the young man's family members are also blaming the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation for his death. Here is more.
They're getting attitude out when you got telling them, look at the patient, look at the patient. They own up on the phone, talking them, want to look at the patient. The boy don't vomit him, blood, he don't get him white. Them is the cause of his death.
His death could have been avoided. Those are just a few words of sentiments echoed by the grieving and heartbroken family members of 19-year-old Isaiah Edwards, who was stabbed by his stepfather on Wednesday, January 26, 2022. The tragic incident, which occurred at the family's home located in North and Fremont Street, East La Penitence, stemmed from an argument between the young man's mother, Khadisha Edwards, and her 30-year-old lover, Sean Bob. Bob allegedly began to abuse the woman because she was not finished cooking. The teen intervened and Bob became angry, picked up a knife and attacked the woman and her son.
Clinic card paper, and then he moved from clinic card to food. But then the argument continued, and the victim, my brother, was in the room at the moment. I was in that chair sitting. And my rest of relatives was in here sitting too. And my brother came out and told him, stop the arguing, trying to sleep. And he ended up saying, he arguing for food, he wanted food. So my mother said, the food is not finished, he wanted just a raw, he eat it. So my brother said, man, well, mommy, take it out to give you. If you want a just a raw, give you a just a raw. And like my mother didn't go for take it out, and he pulled out the knife out the waist and start stabbing. My brother get his stab first. So my mother now running in for push her away, and he end up stabbing she. So I get up from the chair there and I run to the kitchen and snatch the pressure pot, and he start firing joke at me. So I had the pressure pot barring the joke them, and then no, me ain't got no injury. I had the pressure pot barring the joke them. And then the pressure pot end up open, and I do some chow the peas and little catch you on the foot side and he run away. And we end up run out there. The neighbors and so call a taxi for us because my brother was bleeding bad. Call a taxi for us, and we went straight to the Georgetown Public Hospital.
After taking her injured mother and brother to the Georgetown Public Hospital, Allen explained that the severity of her brother's condition was ignored by doctors and nurses at the hospital.
We reached by the gate, they're saying, let he come out and walk. He couldn't come out and walk. We telling them he can't come out and walk. They say, no, he gotta come out, nobody can drive him. This happened at the hospital? Yes. We telling them he can't come out and walk. We gotta drive in there. They get we out there. They had we out there a good couple minutes arguing for driving. Then after we got for driving, when we reach there now, they carry down and they look at the cut. All they do is put a cotton wool and scotch tape it up. They do nothing at all. And then other doctors was looking at my mother. He telling the doctor he feeling bad pain. So when I go to the doctor say, the thing we should give you just now is the pain. Yeah, antibiotic to see the pain. He said, no, he feeling bad pain. They say, no. So they end up telling you that he got go down in a wheelchair because it's a minor thing. He considered critical. So he got go down in a wheelchair. So we telling him, no, he can't go down in the wheelchair. He can't move at all. So he say, man, now y'all want to put it down in the wheelchair. He can't move at all. He feeling bad pain. The doctor end up, she did now gonna walk off. And he said he want vomit. Soon she go for walk off, he start vomiting up blood. bleeding through your nose and your mouth, vomiting her blood. And then she kind of saying they got rush if you do the surgery right away and they move her pretty.
Aline further explains that after her brother had completed the surgery, he was tested positive for COVID-19 and taken immediately to LILIANNDALL facility for COVID-19 victims.
Did not die from COVID. Some boy attendants, well, they already know that he did dead since the night when they rushing him up to the ICU. Like they already know that he wouldn't make it and he didn't dying. But remember, it's not their place to tell me mother anything. Following day when they heard that she received the news, they went to give her a condolence and what's not and what's not. And tell she that they couldn't tell she since the night that he already passed away.
The injured mother is currently still hospitalized. However, she is in a stable condition. While up to press time, the suspect has not been apprehended. A wanted bulletin has been issued for him by the Guyana Police Force. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. 6 low-income families received the keys to their newly constructed homes today under the Ministry of Housing and Water Central Housing and Planning Authority's Core Home Supportive Initiative. The 20 by 20 feet 2-bedroom concrete homes were constructed at the cost of $4 million each. The beneficiaries were only required to make a contribution of $100,000. The homes were officially handed over today by Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell at Rech Dorsey, Lost in Rust and Parfait Harmony Phase 2 on the west bank of the Marara Region 3. The Central Housing and Planning Authority's Chief Executive Officer, Selwyn Greaves, and the Deputy Director of Community Development, Donnell Bess-Bascom, was present at the handing over ceremony. A man is now in police custody after he was found with over 5 kilograms of cannabis. More from Dale Jarvis.
A man is now in police custody after he was found with 5,444 grams of cannabis sativa at Weldat Public Road on January 24, 2022. Reports are that around 8:15 a.m., ranks at a roadblock stopped the driver of minibus BSS 4302, which was carrying 11 passengers at the time, and conducted a search. The ranks discovered a black suitcase in the trunk of the minibus, which contained 2 bulky parcels wrapped in transparent plastic. Those parcels comprised of leaves, seeds, stems, suspected to be cannabis. When questioned about the suitcase, the driver of the minibus identified it as belonging to a male passenger. The suspect admitted that the suitcase and its content belonged to him. The man was subsequently arrested, taken to the Weldat police station, along with the suspected cannabis, where it was weighed in his presence and amounted to 5,444 grams. The suspect was placed in custody, and the investigation is ongoing. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Stick around after the break. A police officer was killed after crashing into a parked truck, and Sophia woman was stabbed and killed by an ex-lover.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Base taxi service, transportation for every occasion. Short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call Kingdom Based Taxi Service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. The Ghana Police Force is investigating the stabbing death of a 28-year-old woman by her ex-lover. Here is more from Esther Sobers.
The Ghana Police Force is investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 28-year-old woman who was stabbed to death by her ex-lover at her mother's residence in Seafield, Sophia on Thursday, January 27, 2022. Dead is Loretta Simon of Cooper Street, All Boys Town. According to preliminary investigations, the woman allegedly met her demise at the hands of her ex-partner, 34-year-old Terrence Thomas. Thomas went to Simon's mother's residence and demanded a reason from her as to why she no longer wanted to be with him. Eyewitnesses told police that the woman asked the suspect to leave her mother's premises. He suddenly whipped out a knife from the waist of his pants and stabbed the victim in the region of her heart. The victim ran a short distance before she collapsed. Thomas subsequently dropped the knife in the yard and made good his escape. Simon was pronounced dead by a doctor at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. The body is currently at the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. The Ghana Police Force has since issued a wanted bulletin for Terrence Thomas, whose last known address is given as Lot 3 East La Penitence, Georgetown. Investigations are in process. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. A young policeman lost his life when he crashed into a stationary lorry at Mocha Access Road on the east bank of Demerara on Thursday, January 27, 2022. Dead is 27-year-old police constable Faustin Magloire of Perseverance Housing Scheme, East Bank, Demerara. Magloire is stationed at the North Rhymefeld Police Outpost and attached to the General Duty Section. Reports said at around 7:30 p.m., motorcar PYY 9539, driven by the deceased, was proceeding east along the access road at a fast rate of speed when the front portion of the car collided with the rear of a motor lorry GAB 8376, which was stationary on the northern side of the road with its lights on. As a result of that collision, the motor car ended up on the southern side of the road, where it collided with the right rear door of hire car HC 2865, driven by 30-year-old Warren Olson Prince, who was proceeding west along the access road. As a result of that collision, Faustin Magloire received injuries about his body and was pronounced dead at the scene by a doctor from the EMT. The body was taken to the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home and it's awaiting a post-mortem examination. Breathalyzer tests were conducted on the drivers of the truck and the hired car. However, they showed no trace of alcohol in their systems. Investigations continue. Don't go away after the break. Honduras swears in Xiomara Castro as the first female president, and dozens dead from tropical storm Anna in southern Africa. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-stand 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans. Samsung smart stoves. Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets. Air fryers and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now here's Esther Sobers with today's regional and international news.
Good evening. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. El Salvador has led the way in adopting Bitcoin, being the first country to take it on as a legal tender last year. But generating digital coin requires huge amounts of energy. Now the country's president has an ambitious plan to create Bitcoin City using the power of a volcano. Al Jazeera John Holman reports.
It was the first country in the world to use Bitcoin as a national currency. Now El Salvador's poised to take its gamble further. The president, in a fireworks-fueled party, announced that he's planning a whole city based on the cryptocurrency.
What is Bitcoin City going to include? And it's going to include everything. Residential areas, commercial areas, services. But we'll have zero income tax, zero capital gains tax. So you invest here, make all the money you want. We're fine. Because this is a fully ecological city that works and it's energized by a volcano.
Bitcoin City, shaped like a symbol of the cryptocurrency itself. It'll run with geothermal electricity from the nearby volcano, which will also be used to generate more Bitcoins. It's an investor's fantasy, but there are worries it's little more than that. Why is that? Why are there doubts about it?
Among other things, because there is no study at this point that the Conchagua volcano, which is the volcano that the government has claimed will be the one they'll be using for mining, actually it allows for that kind of geothermal exploitation.
Her association's been critical of President Bukele, but many Bitcoiners are also skeptical. Nobody's seen any detailed plans. But the government's still ploughing ahead, planning to sell $1 billion worth of so-called Bitcoin bonds, half of which would be used for the city's infrastructure. The other half would be used to buy up more Bitcoins. The hope is that their value goes up and helps pay off some of El Salvador's large national debt. El Salvador's finances aren't looking too rosy. It's been running up a big budget deficit, has payments looming. It's been trying to negotiate a loan with the International Monetary Fund, but so far that hasn't come through yet. Hoping that Bitcoin, a volatile currency which the IMF doesn't approve of the country using, will help solve the debt problems represents an obvious gamble. Meanwhile, El Salvador's first Bitcoin experiment using the cryptocurrency as legal tender, along with the dollar, continues. Government allies say it's doing great.
But in 4 months of Bitcoin, over 4 million people have become digitalized. And the vast majority of them didn't have bank accounts. And that's over 2/3 of the population.
The question is, how many of those 4 million people just use the government's Bitcoin app once to get out the $30 worth of the cryptocurrency given away for free? Who knows? No public stats are available. What is known is that people have struggled to use the app and the Bitcoin cash points from the start.
I've been trying to get into my account for 2 weeks and I can't do it. It's active and registered and I've been calling support, but they haven't been able to sort it for me.
The government's keen to remind that it's early days yet, but with the newly planned Bitcoin city and bonds, it's certainly up the stakes on its bet on cryptocurrency. John Holman, Al Jazeera, El Salvador.
Honduras has sworn its first female president. Xiomara Castro swept the national vote in November, promising to restore democratic institutions after more than 12 years of single-party rule. Al Jazeera Manuel Rapallo reports.
Celebrations across Tegucigalpa as Xiomara Castro, a former First Lady of Honduras, was sworn in to become the country's first female president.
Queridas hermanas y hermanos.
Dear sisters and brothers, Honduran people, the presidency of the Republic had never been assumed by a woman in Honduras. 200 years have had to pass since the declaration of our independence.
City streets throughout the capital, Tegucigalpa, closed for a parade to celebrate the historic inauguration. Many expressed their hopes the country may finally turn a page after more than a decade of single-party rule, marred by scandal and political turmoil that have fueled a historic wave of migration.
We hope that she will deliver that which we've been hoping for years, that people will no longer migrate to other countries, that people will stay and have decent employment, because we all have a right to that, and it's what a majority of the people expect, to stay in their country. Nobody wants to be away from their home, and that is what she will accomplish.
Dozens of high-profile guests were also in attendance, including U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, who seeks to strengthen a bilateral partnership with Honduras to address the root causes of migration from Central America.
Poverty has increased by 74% to turn our country into the poorest in Latin America. This statistic in itself explains the caravans of thousands of people who flee north towards Mexico and the United States.
While the mood here in the capital city is that of celebration, Inauguration Day is taking place under a backdrop of a political crisis in the Honduran National Congress.
Legislators, however, appear to have at least temporarily put aside the political standoff to allow citizens to celebrate the peaceful transfer of power. President Xiomara Castro ran on an anti-corruption platform, promising an overhaul of the country's legal system. Her ability to govern effectively, however, will ultimately depend on finding common ground with her political opponents in the Honduran legislature. Manuel Rapallo, Al Jazeera, Tegucigalpa.
At least 70 people have been killed by Storm Anna across southern and eastern Africa over the past week. The worst hit have been Malawi, Madagascar and Mozambique. Al Jazeera's Stephanie Decker has that story.
Days of heavy rains have drowned out these villages. The power of Mother Nature more clear from the air. On the ground, tens of thousands of people here in Malawi have been affected, many now homeless.
We've had floods previously, but they'd never reached here. Yes, Mwanza River could overflow, but the people living near it were the only ones affected, but not us living in hilly places. It is only this year that waters have displaced us.
Some aid is getting through, but the floodwaters mean it's still hard to reach remote areas.
These floods are unprecedented. That's what we're hearing from those that have been in Chihuahua for long. Normally, floods have areas where they normally take place. But this time, with Anna, almost 2/3 of the district have been hit.
Heavy rains have hit southern Africa for around a week now. It's not just Malawi. Mozambique has been hit hard too, caught on camera by one of the rescue workers. This man had climbed up a tree to escape the fast-rising waters. And in Madagascar, flooding has caused electricity cuts across wide areas. Thousands displaced here too.
Our house is flooded with water. It was flooded twice. We were already flooded the other time, but we stayed there. But this time we had to leave because all the mattresses are wet and our baby got sick.
Authorities are now rushing to repair broken infrastructure and help the tens of thousands of displaced across these three countries. While weather reports predict there could be more heavy rains to come. Stephanie Decker, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Esther. Here now is your 3D weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.